This is the ongoing project I've recently started, which you're all aware of from if you watch previous videos of the VM26 Toolco milling machine. It is progressing slowly. They have very limited time, and this video is basically a shout out to John at Double Boost. I like John's no-nonsense approach to engineering. The modifications and alterations he's made to his 626 machine are practical and useful, and this is one of them. It is a spindle lock, basically an aluminium disc with slots, or as John's done, holes around the perimeter, which allows you to lock the spindle to make tool changes easier. The spindle lock itself is quite adaptable for this method that I've used. You've got a small bobbin on a shaft and the spring sits below it, which means that when you push the plunger in to lock the spindle, it will spring back out and release. If you take the bobbin and turn it around and face the opposite way, you could put the spring to this side, which means that it will be spring engaged constantly, so you have to pull it to release it. Obviously not useful for the application, but it's useful for other purposes. I've positioned the spindle lock on the left hand side, which is the most convenient for myself as I'm right-handed, so I can engage the lock and operate the spanner to remove the tooling with the right hand. Operation is quite simple. If you notice, or you can see it just there, there's a hole going through. That's for a pin to go through, probably some sort of a clevis or an R-clip to prevent accidental operation when the machine's running. It's simply a case of press the button or the knob. That engages into the spindle and prevents it from turning, and then spring return. Obviously once it's free, it should run. The previous two videos on this subject was related to the lubrication system. You can now see that this in place and fitted, and there's a bright new shiny grease gun which is going to be soon modified into a high pressure oil gun for this system. Additionally, which is probably not that easy to spot unless you know what you're looking for, the 24 volt halogen light has now been converted over to LED. Less current, less heat, more light. This does involve a small amount of rewiring and the removal of this old coil wound transformer. Initially I was considering putting a standard 12 volt driver in, but I've got some ideas that I think I'm going to progress. The idea of having a 12 volt power supply on the mill permanently wired seems quite acceptable to me. It means that other things can be plugged in if you like, so I think there's going to be a case of some auxiliary sockets and a 30 amp power supply, which means I can probably drive several items, including more lights, but also power feed as well. With regard to the power feed, I'm going to use part of a failed project. This is a wiper motor from a Ford Transit van, which is 12 volt, dual speed, which I'm in the process of reconfiguring the wiring to suit the needs of the application on the milling machine. To power control the power feed for the X-axis is a 30 amp 12 volt power supply and a PWM, which has got directional switching, speed control, and also a percentage in digital to give you a rating as far as speed goes. So that's it for this video. Hopefully I'll make some progress really soon and start posting some more videos for everyone's entertainment, if nothing else. Thanks very much.